Hello, Sim here. SBMM, the dreaded acronym for Skill Based Matchmaking, has become much more prevalent in recent years of Call of Duty, never more so than in the year of MW19. Generally, gamers think of SBMM as one thing, but it is really a collection of algorithms, and I am going to discuss how these SBMM algorithms come into play. So if you enjoy informative gaming videos and like to know how to buff your gaming network, make sure you are subscribed and have hit the bell icon so that you get notified of when new videos arrive. I am going to cover 12 subtopics or themes within this video, and I've added video chapters to allow you to easily navigate the video if you wish. So I'm going to start off with the fundamentals, the matchmaking algorithm. To play any multiplayer online game, aka on the internet and not a local LAN, one needs a matchmaking service to find gamers playing that game to game with on the platform of interest, think PC, PlayStation or Xbox. And of course, in recent times, crossplay has arrived, and those matchmaking services now find players from all platforms to game together with and have some fun. So that's what traditional matchmaking was meant to be. Find some players, playing a game and your game mode, think team deathmatch, domination, etc. Create the lobby and start the match. Ideally, it would find local players, and if it couldn't, it would expand the search outwards. Easy, right? Or easy-ish. The matchmaking was basic, and on the whole, the game, or should I say the match, would be fun to play. I remember the days of having 4-hour plus gaming sessions with mates or clan members back in the days of Modern Warfare 3 and Black Ops 2. I'm not saying that the games were perfect, no game is, but it's been a long time since I've had a mammoth gaming session, or sessions, late into the night, where we as a team were just having fun. None of this continuous sweat nonsense we have today. Moving on to lag compensation, which for those of you who have been watching my channel for some time, know that my channel is known for videos to help gamers out to have a more enjoyable experience. The traditional lag compensation algorithm aim or purpose is to take into account the internet speed of everyone in the lobby, so that everyone is on a level playing field when gaming against each other. So we are talking bandwidth, download and upload, and internet latency, i.e. your ping. If it was balanced right and done correctly by the game, then everyone in the game would be in sync within the game world and thus have equal opportunity to see and shoot the enemy at the same time. However, we have known for some time that this is not the case, and there have been various videos demonstrating this as a split screener where you have two gamers, thus two controllers on one console gaming against each other, where the latency is only the console, in other words 0 latency, and yet one gamer would see another first and have the advantage. So the game intentionally injected some additional lag, or latency to be correct, between the players with a 0 millisecond connection. This only became more amplified when playing the game on the internet. Thus my lag compensation video series was born, to try to help gamers have a more fairer gaming experience, which in general worked. Now back on the last generation consoles, the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, COD did not have dedicated servers for actually playing game matches. Sure, they had matchmaking servers, without that no one would be able to play a game, but we had what was commonly referred to by gamers as P2P or peer-to-peer, which was technically incorrect as it was a listen servers implementation, which are still available today. At the end of the day, a gamer within a lobby would be nominated as the host, again chosen by an algorithm. Most likely the host would have the lowest ping and the best bandwidth, and there would be endless videos about host advantage back then when consoles were hacked and cheaters came along, but that's for another video. So having found gamers, put them in a lobby, determined who the host would be, analysed the connections, the game would appropriately update the game world synchronization and compensate players to ideally allow them to see each other at the same time. But that was not always the case. Good old lag comp. Unload a clip of bullets and they didn't die. Shoot first, die first. You know the fun and pain of playing COD. So as I alluded to in the previous chapter, hackers and cheats were prevalent during Modern Warfare 3 and Black Ops 2 days. And so were lag switches, devices to deliberately inject a delay. But it became apparent in Black Ops 2 that the game was also doing this deliberately at will throughout the match. So casting our minds back to Modern Warfare 3 days, certain maps for particular game modes had the advantage tactically for winning a game. One such example was Mission, when your home spawn was at the top end of the map. So if you were playing against a good team, you could guarantee that you would lose if your home spawn was at the bottom end of the map. So when Black Ops 2 came along, they tried to address this by introducing 2 rounds into domination. So that if your home spawn was at the bad end of the map and your team were losing in round 1, you had the chance to win the game in round 2, where your home spawn was at the better end of the map. All good stuff. However, this is when it became first noticeable that the game itself was doing more advanced manipulation of people's connections, aka what I'm going to term as dynamic lag compensation adjustments, based on some set of rules that we're not privy to. Everyone playing Black Ops 2 back in the day would have naturally thought that the enemy team was cheating and maybe using a lag switch. So what happened? Round 1 your team was winning, then it came to round 2 and suddenly you could no longer kill the enemy. Everyone would refer to this as the switch has been flipped. And for those of you playing the more recent CODs, you will be familiar with this too. So I'm not referring to lag compensation adjustments occurring whilst players join and leave throughout the match. The flipping of the switch occurred when the same lobby stayed between rounds. In other words, the same players were still playing against each other. The game just decided to give the other team a superior advantage in round 2, and this still happens today, sadly. So I refer to this as the switch flipping algorithm. So although technically not related to skill-based matchmaking, it is definitely worth a mention because a lot of us want it back in the next Call of Duty to reduce the SBMM effect. That being league play. Again, it was another innovation introduced in Black Ops 2, allowing the sweats, the truly competitive types, those MLG players, to duke it out and rank up the ladders. Meaning that the more casual gamer could still have fun in the public lobbies. That meant you could have shield only classes, run around as a team killing enemies with just shields, and just have silly class setups. Unfortunately, the days of silly class setups and casual fun are just over at present, due to, well, league play no longer existing and the sweats being put against sweats, game after game, which means the try-hard class setup is always required. Otherwise you're just going to lose every single game and it's going to be misery. So traditional matchmaking was all about finding local or local-ish gamers to play against. That was until Advanced Warfare, which really ratcheted up the skill-based matchmaking algorithm. Now, then skill was more important than ping. It would find players at your skill level, however it determined that, on the other side of the world, rather than local to you, and connections would naturally just be bad. So if the host or server was on the other side of the world, you would be screwed. On numerous occasions, you would have, for example, 1 or 2 UK players playing on a US server with the other 10 players all being in the US. Not a fun experience. Of course, this would happen vice versa. Now, due to there being a mix of listen servers and dedicated servers at this time, GeoIP solutions became an effective way of minimizing the connection disadvantage. GeoIP solutions is where you have advanced firewall that blocks IP addresses for particular countries and only allows the game to connect to local servers, thereby giving you a more fairer chance within the match because you're playing against local gamers and not the other side of the world. However, the skill element of the matchmaking would still be in effect, but at least you'll be playing against local gamers, certainly when P2P was more prevalent. This is when NetDoomer launched, giving gamers some sense of control. But Activision's algorithms and infrastructure updates have tried to circumvent that over recent years. So if we move on to the topic of dedicated servers, sounds great, sweet, no more hackers, we've got proper servers, man, sweet, with good internet connections, no more lag spikes, sweet, all sounds great in theory, right? But experience does not back that up. Typically servers are overloaded and therefore not responsive enough, introducing artificial lag and at times what appears as packet loss, but more likely a hammered server. Which are not really individual servers but virtualized ones within a big data center. And some of these data centers are suboptimal and notorious within the COD community as bad. Those with NetDoomers and other Geo IP solutions can see the servers that they're connected to and go, oh god damn, we're on, insert the data center name here, server. No wonder the gaming experience is bad, especially in Europe. Sad to say. As a consequence of COD moving to a more truer dedicated server experience, with listen servers still an option as a game gets retired as newer CODs are released, the matchmaking algorithm gets another tweak perhaps. Now as a consequence of dedicated servers, the Geo IP solutions such as PF Blocker or NetDoomer routers become less effective. Why? Because all we as a gamer can now control is what the server we connect to, not the gamers who actually connect to that dedicated server. For example, we regularly have Canadians that play on our London servers in MW19. Why are they not gaming on the New York server, one may ask, as it's a bit closer? Well, it just comes down to the matchmaking algorithm parameters. Again, we've got no control of that. One notes that Canada does not have any dedicated servers, but you would at least expect players to be put onto dedicated servers that are more geographically closer. So as a consequence of doing this, you've got connection issues. And of course the whole lag compensation dynamic adjustments come into play. The whole fairness of gamers seeing each other at the same time in the game world just disappears. Fantastic. Not. So another element of the skill-based matchmaking algorithm suite is lobby balancing. Right, so we found gamers of a suitable skill level via matchmaking, supposedly. Now we need to put the gamers on the right teams to have an equal skill level, but that rarely happens. Typically one team will be the beast team, and the other team will be you with a bunch of noobs who get slaughtered. It is typical in extreme cases for the final score to be 0 to 250, and 30 versus 250. Not fun at all, and most people will rage quit. Understandably so. Certainly when you start adding on all the other factors of the SBMM algorithm suite, where they all start compounding against you. So one of those other factors is what I refer to as the SBMM BS. Where the game decides who will be behind and who will be ahead within the game world, from a who sees who first perspective. Now I spoke about this in my Sim is Back video, where it was very apparent in Black Ops 4, and even more so in MW19. So for example, if everyone in a lobby stays in between the two matches, you will find that in one match your team comfortably wins, where it looks like you're playing against noobs. Then in the next match the roles are reversed, suddenly you can no longer kill the enemy, you watch the kill cams and you see that they saw you way before you even saw them, and apparently you didn't even react. Whereas in reality you know you started shooting at them, but apparently you didn't, and therefore you died and lost the gunfight. Again, you've got no control over any of this. Moving on to what I refer to as SBMM getting a significant buff. Again, I mentioned and talked about this in my MW19 thoughts and concerns video, where it was very noticeable to regular COD players that the SBMM algorithm was increased in its intensity in Black Ops 4 post the alpha for MW19. Yes, they were just getting you ready for the sweat fest known as MW19. For those of you who played the Cold War open beta throughout the weekends, you would have noticed that the SBMM sweat dial was adjusted during different times of the day. Sometimes you would have what I refer to as the MW3 Black Ops 2 matchmaking experience versus the Modern Warfare 19 sweat mode versus the oh my god it's even more sweaty mode. Your connection was the same, no game patching occurred, it was the same gaming session, and you'd go from fun to super sweat mode as soon as they tweaked the parameters on the matchmaking servers and any other algorithm parameters that the game picks up off of the appropriate servers. Skill-based matchmaking is the major concern of all COD fans. It is destroying, or should I say it has destroyed the fun factor. So a couple of short topics that MW19 has definitely introduced and is very noticeable, and I'm sure that anyone who's played MW19 will agree. The first one being aim assist, changing between matches or sometimes just on a particular day. You as the gamer are fighting against aim assist as the game is deliberately pulling your aim off of enemy characters. Is it because the game says, hey, you're a really good player and we put you in a lobby with a lesser player, so we're gonna make it even more harder for you to use your controller to shoot an enemy? What do you think? Here is another one. Technically not SBM related, but certainly a fun killer related, and it would make you look like a complete noob. It's the sniper freeze please effect. Yep, as soon as the player starts aiming down their sniper scope at you, your avatar momentarily freezes in front of them and you're dead. You cannot do anything. Just sweet. Not. Okay, for the final one, we've seen the Activision patents, and there was a big outcry on this one a few years ago, but it seems that people have forgotten. Yep, it's what is called the DLC advantage. Go spend a load of money on DLC, think weapons, camos, etc., and we'll put you in easier lobbies. So, DLC influences matchmaking? Spend more money on microtransactions and have an easier time gaming. It's just so wrong. So, what do you think about skill-based matchmaking? Did you agree or disagree with stuff I said? Perhaps I missed something, so let me know in the comments below. Until next time, this has been Sim.